There's so many videos, TikToks, Reels, whatever, trying to sell you a hobby. And it's usually someone working in this gorgeous studio with beautiful lighting. And that's not always the case for hobbies. So let me show you my misery and tell you what I hate about my hobbies. Small disclaimer, I think my hobbies are great. They entertain me and keep me off my phone. So that's pretty spectacular right there. And really, I wouldn't do them if I didn't enjoy them. That being said, here's the reasons why I hate them. Art, specifically drawing. My brain doesn't always properly communicate with my hands and eyes. So I can see this gorgeous picture better than anything that's been created in history. And I put it on paper, and it looks like I'm 12 again. People will ask me to draw XYZ. Okay, maybe not the letters X, Y, and Z, but people find out I can draw. Maybe they met me like 30 seconds ago, and they'll ask me to draw something. I find it adorable when it's a small child, and I will absolutely make a drawing for them right then and there. But if you're in your 20s like me, it's kind of weird. It also just makes it feel like you care more what I can do for you than me as a person. So I'm not gonna be as inclined to talk to you again. Sometimes I regret fan art. By that, I don't mean how I thought it turned out. I don't mean that, hey, it's viewed as a cringe show or whatever now. Because that doesn't matter to me, because that show mattered to me then. And that made me happy. What I mean is, sometimes you make fan art of real people, and then they turn out to be bad. And then you feel guilty for making fan art of them. And you kind of can't believe that you spent your valuable time on someone like that. And it sucks, but we learn and we grow. People saying that they can't draw. You can absolutely draw a stick figure. You can draw anything. It might not be the vision that you have in your head, but you can draw. You may say you can't draw a straight line. Neither can I. It's very rare. Physics class is about it, but that's fine. Your art doesn't have to be inherently good to be called art. It's just if you made it. That's all that it takes. And then leading right into that, we got obnoxious AI users. And I mean the people who specifically just seek out artists to say, oh, AI can do that better. You're wasting your time. You can just get rid of the tedious process. The process is the part that I like. I don't look at my art very long once it's done. If I look at my art too long, I will hate it, even if everyone else loves it. Unless I take a break from it for like 2 weeks and then I can look back at it and go like, man, I can't believe I made that. I will never be that good again. And then somehow I get better. But that's besides the point. Obnoxious AI users. And then the ones that will feed people's art into AI to fix it. As anyone who's been in the art community for a while should know by now, fixing art is not great. There are exceptions, but that's if someone's using their art to attack someone, okay? That's the exception there. But alright, let's get away from the doom and gloom of people bullying others for no apparent reason. Making cosplays. Safety. Safety sucks. Safety third. No, not safety third. I have safety stuff. Okay? Wear your respirator, wear gloves, make sure you're in a well-ventilated area, have your safety glasses, people. Some of the chemicals that I work with can cause brain damage. The fumes off of weldwood contact cement specifically say that they can cause brain damage. I have the proper respirator to avoid that, but that's something you should be aware of if you want to get into this hobby, with foam smithing, at least, there's a lot of hazards. If you want to go for a safer one, I suggest starting off with sewing, which faux fur can be a hazard though, just be aware of that, and cardboard costuming. You can make some fantastic stuff out of cardboard. That's what I started out with before going to foam smithing. Kind of related to the safety stuff is I can only work on stuff during optimal weather conditions. So I have to work out in my garage because I don't want those fumes in my house. And so I am very subject to weather and temperature, and having a respirator means that I can't work long in high heat at all. It makes it very difficult to breathe, and it gets very stuffy very quick. Maybe I am breathing just fine, but it certainly doesn't feel that way. Next issue. Also somewhat related to safety. There's a lot of safety issues that I have with this. It's fine. This is a great hobby. You guys should get into it. I burn myself on hot glue. Why is hot glue hot? I should be able to touch that and not get a burn. Con crunches! Something I'm sure everyone who's looked into cosplaying has heard about. I plan ahead, and then I don't follow the plan, or I don't plan well enough. And suddenly, I'm up at 3 a.m. crying over my unpainted cosplay, and then I'm texting my mother, like, I think I'm just gonna quit, I think I'm gonna drop out of the cosplay competition, and she's like, no, anything you accomplish is impressive, you've got this, and yeah, she's right. But I still shouldn't have stayed up until 3 a.m. And don't do that, guys. Get 8 hours of sleep and food and water, please. But that cosplay ended up getting Judge's Choice, so that was cool. I don't have enough room to store all my cosplays. Once cosplays are built, they take up quite a bit of room. At least foam armor does. I don't know about sewing. I don't like sewing. I know cosplayers who specialize in sewing and don't like foam smithing. I don't get it. I think sewing's harder. But yeah, I only have so much closet space. Plus, suitcases are very limited if I ever want to fly to another convention. That's what I did for my first one. And then going from making cosplays to wearing cosplays, my feet hurt. Sometimes I choose the wrong shoes and my feet hurt. I look spectacular, but my feet hurt. And that's a problem, and it's not fair. Sometimes I think I pick out the perfect boots, and then they're not. And it's not fun. And kind of into an earlier complaint about making cosplays is the weather again. I sound like an old person. I'm gonna complain about the weather so much when it comes to cosplaying, because weather doesn't care what cosplay I want to wear. It was over 90 degrees one time, and I was wearing my Helldiver, and I sprinted across the parking lot because I was late to pre-judging. Or I was gonna be. I was almost late. I was there right on time, but I was almost late. And I felt like throwing up afterwards. That's how bad the heat stress got. But not heat stroke, so I'm okay. Sometimes people are just weird. And that's, I don't mean in the nerdy weird, I'd be a hypocrite if I meant that, but like, stalky kind of weird, or weird comments kind of weird. But yeah, there was one time where someone walked up to me when I was wearing my Helldivers outfit. Helldivers had been out for just a couple of months at this point, and he was like, "Do you at least play the game?" I was in the middle of a conversation with a friend when this happened. I was like, yeah? It's like, oh, okay, at least there's that. And then just walks away. I am still confused about that. But yeah, I probably should have put this by an earlier complaint. But another complaint that I have, comfort-wise, is that sometimes I just can't sit. So, like, Ivarla, my Mandalorian, due to her armor skirt. I can't sit in a chair because the plates get all wrinkly. That is a perk of foam, though, is that it can just flex if I absolutely need to sit down. And then my Helldiver, I can't do squats in. Like, I can sit in a chair, I can't sit on the ground. Ivarla, I can sit in the ground, I can't sit in a chair. But then both of them have back pieces that just make chairs uncomfortable. So it's a great time all around. I want to do group cosplays, and I don't have enough friends who want to do that group cosplay. Or just want to cosplay. I've got friends who will go with me to cons, but aren't necessarily into the cosplay part of going to cons. They think it's cool, they just won't wear anything. I mean, they obviously wear, like, actual clothes, but they don't wear cosplay. And then next up, what most of my videos are on this channel is animating. It's a lot of work. It is a stupid amount of work for 8 seconds of animation. I do so many drawings for just a little bit of animation. It looks so good when it comes out right, though. But it takes so much work. It takes a long time. I don't like coloring stuff in. I just like making the motions. And then the actual coloring in and line art part, I'm just like, okay, this becomes a chore at this point, especially when some of the motions are just the tiniest fraction of a pixel off, and I still have to redraw it, otherwise the motion looks funky. And then my programs. OpenTunes. Stop crashing on me. I'm gonna crash out if you keep crashing on me. It's so bad. I have to close out any internet browser if I'm doing anything over 4 layers in that program. And there's over 8 in Second Restless Child, that map part that I did. It looks good. I was losing my mind on that one, though. And then sometimes I just forget how to animate. It's a lot more difficult to pick animation back up after a hiatus than it is just normal drawing, because you're not just thinking how something looks, you think how it's setting up for the next motion and how everything fits together, timing. It's an art form, and I have serious respect for people who do it as a career. And then we're just gonna end this with combat robotics. I have to get up early. All the check-ins and stuff start at like 8 a.m. I don't like waking up early, but I have to because I want to be at the combat robotics tournament, and that's fun. Or I volunteer there. And it's still fun to volunteer, but I still have to get up early for that. And then sometimes my electronics don't work. Part of this is just because of my own design, and it is killing electronics every now and then. But it's getting upgrades, so that shouldn't happen anymore. And then I keep choosing overcomplicated designs. Fun fact, circles, round shapes, tend to be a lot more difficult to work with when modeling and just in CAD softwares and stuff. It's pretty, but it's a lot more work to work around. But yeah, that's pretty much all I can think of at the moment. There's other minor hobbies that I have teeny tiny little nitpicks and stuff. But yeah, these aren't all of my hobbies. These are just my biggest ones that I spend the most time on. But tell me, what are your favorite hobbies, and what do you like or hate about them? Go ahead, feel free to rant about your hobbies and just, I don't know, like seams getting stuck in your sewing machine eating your fabric. I really don't like sewing. But thanks for sticking around until the end. If you liked my video, please leave a like, consider subscribing. That's really all I need for support, but if you want to offer more support, I've got an Etsy shop and a Ko-Fi. My Etsy has a variety of sticker designs, and my Ko-Fi has doodle commissions. But thanks for watching, and have a great day!